Scotland are away in Gibraltar, and surely they will pick up 3 points here, but it will all be in vain because sadly they no longer can qualify. It's been a very, very tough group indeed for Scotland. They've played very well and they've had some great highlights over the course of events, but it didn't quite conspire for them this time round. Scotland didn't get the results that they wanted, of course, against Poland and what the Irish were doing as well. It's not going to happen for them this time round, but they've had a very good qualifying campaign, bearing in mind they were in a very, very difficult group that most teams would struggle to get out of. What do you think have been the highlights for Scotland in terms of tactics throughout Gordon Strachan's team's campaign? I think one of the highlights was at home, when the front four actually pressed forward, gave us more attacking sense, because in the past games we've always been very defensive, very counter-attacking, but Gordon's brought the attacking sense, like the freedom of them to go and play, the wider players pushing up, the number 10 playing in behind the striker, all freedom for these guys to go and play and express themselves, and that's been a highlight of it. Maybe not scoring as many goals as they would like to have done, but certainly from that compact of going forward at home, they've done that very well this season. Yeah, Scotland, in previous qualifying campaigns, they've struggled maybe to score a few goals, especially against the top sides. But, you know, they've scored 3 goals over 2 games against Germany, you know, scored a couple of goals away in Poland, you know, so they have been better going forward. And Strachan's also playing more attractive football going forward as well. It's not just been kick and run or anything like that. That's impressed you? It's impressed me the most, because what Gordon's done is it's an old school of bringing up. You defend from the front, and that's the way Gordon's done it. He's not brought them back to the halfway line at times and says, right, we're going to sit back here and relax and let them attack us. Let's go and press them a little bit and see if we can do it in stages. If we can't press them high up the park, then we'll come back into the midfield and we'll start the pressing from there. And if we can't get that, and he's worked it back, and he's worked it in a group theory as well. So all the players that have gone in the squad over the last couple of years through the campaign, they all understand the jobs, and that's been the key thing to it. So you take any player out where it was a wide midfielder, you put a wide midfielder in his place, they knew the job they had to do. It wasn't a case of go out and do your own thing. You had to do the job first, and then you could over-elaborate on what you wanted to do with your own skills. Gibraltar, they've only scored once in their history, haven't they, which was against Scotland. Can they score again, Andy? I'm not convinced. I've got to say, with all due respect to Jake Gosling, of course for Gibraltar it's been a campaign where they've just been finding their way in the international game, and I think struggling on a logistical level has been one of the main problems for them. That, like, getting it right on the pitch, of course they've got a huge difference to make up, but no one's really expecting anything of them, and I think it's been a relief from all the administrative difficulties they've had off it as they've tried to get a grip, and they've changed the management team around, with Wood changing from assistant to becoming the head coach, and you know the sort of job swap they've had there. You know, I'm sure they'll be so excited to have Scotland visiting. For a side like Gibraltar, how do they improve in future campaigns? I mean, with the talent that they have, obviously it's very, very difficult and it's always going to be limited, but we've seen sides like Andorra and the Faroe Islands improve. Yeah, Faroes, absolutely. They have to be used as a template, and for all those people who think there should be a second division of international football, I don't agree with that at all. I think international football's all about pride. It's all about having the right to represent your country, and that's something Gibraltar and the Gibraltarian FA have fought really hard for. You know, they deserve these moments, and it's been tough for them, but they've not really disgraced themselves in any games. You know, they've managed to do their best to try and be competitive. I think that away game in Germany is the obvious one, and they've got something to work with. Scotland were pretty good on the break, and you saw that against Germany in the first game, and Anya's goal was a wonderful breakaway goal. He's very much set them up as a counter-attacking side against the bigger teams, which makes sense, really, doesn't it? It does, and that was the way the campaign started off, and that was the surprise side of it. I think the second half against Germany, they were absolutely brilliant. The first half they sat back on the counter-attack, and Germany basically had them by the throat. And then the second half, I don't know what Gordon said at half-time, but he gave him a release, and they push forward more. The pace of Anya down the left, pace down the right-hand side, that makes a massive difference at international level, and it made a difference in the wider areas against Germany in the second half, because I'd never seen Germany really being caught in the back foot. That's right, and I think Scotland set the template to Poland, who played them the next game and beat them. So for me, you take an advantage out of that. Gordon done well, a good set-up, especially the second half, and Poland just went on a stage further and took it from them. Do you think in future qualifying campaigns you'll see this defensive unit used more often from Strachan, presumably that he'll still be in charge? I think so. I think because it's the 2-year campaign that he's had already, he's stuck with that system.
I think the thing about it is it's the quality of the players that's in there. You know, we don't have world superstars. We have a team of players in there that work hard for each other, and that's why they're all picked on that merit. You know, they're not out there scoring goals, your top superstar. They're there because they work hard for the team as well, and help set up other people. So Scotland is a team that works together, and as soon as we get 3 or 4 individuals to help the team get better, I think we'll start qualifying for things again.
For more information on the match, search Vauxhall Scotland on Twitter and Facebook. It's time for the road to France, everybody. This time I literally went on the road to France.